Dream of Young Mind Foundation is a platform to promote space and satellite education for every young mind. That is for the entire student community from any school and colleges and all around the world. Here we discuss so many, not only the space, we discuss about political, social, cultural aspects also. Uniting Dream of Young Mind Foundation is currently connecting all space experts with every young mind, and it is on the track to cover and has almost covered all the state as early as possible with a future aim to build a space satellite education for every young mind across the world. To begin with, Anjum Qureshi ma'am, I welcome you, Dr. PK Rajput sir. Sir, we wanted to hear you to begin the session, sir.
Thank you, Pooja ma'am. Thank you so much. Once again, good evening, Anju ma'am, and all the wonderful person who have joined here. And it's my again an honor to be a part of this wonderful, lovely, great platform where we are talking about the education summit on 2023. So I will how the things are going to be changed because in November 2022, the new thing had come Chat GPT. Right. So I'm just talking about the
Yes, sir.
scenario is getting changed. The students are going to learn more on the technology, which is very important because yesterday the news was Microsoft is spending 1,000 billion on producing this Chat GPT, that how efficiency, how fastness can be increased, which is very, very important part of the life. Now coming to the second example, I like to highlight it here. I went to Pune. I went to some of the schools, right? And the schools which are up to the 12th standard, they are talking about the NEP guidelines. And I saw in one of the school that from the class 1 standard, they are talking about the whiteboard and from the digital board. Class 1, right? So this is the upgradation is happening because the teacher is showing the detail in the book. So nothing is there in that, and they're just showing it about. So they're making the child to converse, which is the latest part of it. Taking the clue from that, on the fifth standard, the robotics has started coming up. Further taking to that is that another things that from the 12th standard, they are thinking that what new has to be adopted and all. So that is the new change is there. And since you all are educator, you are talking about the change from STEM to STEAM. And A is basically a art. And today the design thinking is a part of the art. Either it is not only in the fashion designing, it is there in the marketing, it is there the product designing, it is there in so many other designing, which is a part and parcel of the life. Then simulation is another thing which is coming up very well. And again, we require a people who should be technology oriented apart from making the things happen. Then I'll also like to highlight it here. Today we talk about the emotional quotient, creative quotient to the student, and we always try to develop that, right? But social quotient is another to get success. The social quotient has to be increased and engrossed, right? Then only the child will be thinking about the entrepreneur mindset, leadership mindset, right? And then the child will not be working as a job seeker. The child will start thinking about the job provider. So this is the complete paradigm shift is there, which has to be taken care. And at the same time, digital transformation, e-learning, digitization, acquaintancy with the metaverse, AR, VR, IoT. These are the things are there which has to be taken care. And today, it is not only the science, mathematics, technology is going to rule the roost. All the subject in the different domain are going to rule the roost. So So the education is taking a complete turn, and we as an educator, because here again I put myself as an educator part, we have to upgrade ourselves and we have to upskill ourselves. So what we are supposed to teach as per the NEP guideline which is showing about it, there's lot of the pre-shift has to be taken care. And once we started that, I think, I'm sure we are able to develop the child in the right way.
There is some network issue with Dr. Rajput sir. So we'll continue with the next speaker. And I think the things that he has talked about, the chat tech, he has talked about the simulation, he has talked about the social uh, quotient, that we need to be more job provider than the job seeker. So this is a time of 21st century where we talk about the critical thinking, the three C's, communication. So it's the need of the hour. And with today we are going to discuss various parameters. We are going to discuss about how things are going to change, how a shift is coming up in the education system. So we have our next speaker with us, Dr. Nahid Raza sir. I welcome you, Nahid sir, on this note.
Thank you, ma'am. Very good evening.
Good evening, Nahid sir.
First of all, I wish to thank Rajput sir. Generally, he talks very nice, and today as
Yes,
well, sir has articulated very good points. So, GP sir has discussed, and I wish to talk now that every 18 months, technology is doubling. It gets double. The GDP of developing country doubles in 16 to 18 years. So, this paradigm shift has started and this will continue. So need of the hour is to make ourselves
Not able
techno
to hear.
savvy. We should adapt things, adopt things which are on the floor. We should use them, and we should develop our students in a way that they become autonomous learners.
rightly
Right?
said, sir. Absolutely right.
Charles Darwin had rightly said, if you waste 1 hour, it means you do not know the value of your life. I was reading one book that is 4,000 week. In that, the author has discussed no, that we are planning too much and acting very less. So we need to act, we need to adopt, and we need to move ahead with the perception we have, with the purpose we have, and with the passion we have. So we should chase our purpose, and we should have proper planning. That planning should be in small steps, and we should move ahead and get things done in a very easy manner. Rabbit and tortoise is very good example and fable in which tortoise covers and wins the race. In this manner, we can win the race provided we do our work daily and we have vision, and we should have a perseverance capability in ourselves to accomplish that vision. So Delhi will have to do things right, and we need to make our students autonomous learners. Right, we will have to give them autonomy. We will have to give them ownership of what they do, and we need not to tell how they should do. It is their own strategy. We should appreciate. We should provide every resource available with us. In place of filling their bucket, let them fill their own buckets. So this is how we can empower our students, and we can develop 21st century life skills. Sir has talked about social quotient as well. Social skills is the most important skill, because last 100 years we have seen no that more than every organization is working in collaboration, because it's specialized areas are developing, emerging, and there are many sectors which are being deleted from this globe, and there are many sectors which are coming up right in this world. So we need to be to develop adaptability, and before the adaptability we should have resilience in ourselves, in our students, and they should be prepared in a way that no that that they should continue learning new things, because uncertainty will always be remaining. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. These are my initial remarks. Thank you.
Sir, absolutely. Whatever you have talked about, you have talked about the current thing. And I agree with Rajput sir and you too that we need to give the ownership to the students so that they can come up on their own, they can build their career. They don't have to depend on others. So they need to chase the purpose and they need to have a planning, and the planning should be in a small step. Step by step, they should go ahead. And they should have a vision, and then only if they have a vision, then only the mission can be accomplished. And learning, we all, as Rajput sir always say, we the journey continues and we keep on learning. We all are learners. So Rajput sir, thank you for joining us again. I think there's a network issue from your side.
Yeah, I like to complete. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I like to complete. Can I? Okay.
Yes, yes,
So
yes, sir, please.
today, I actually I had a meeting in Delhi. I met Dr. O.P. Goyal, who is the Prime Minister Kaushal Vikas Yojana Steering Committee member. Right. Then I met Dr. Manish Mishra, who is the Executive Vice President of National Skill Development Corporation of India. So what they were talking about there, they said that every day 10 lakhs of the children's, they are coming to the adult age because they are crossing the 18 years of the age. Every day, 10 lakhs. Then we are talking about that the skill requirement. Then they say the skill requirement should not be confined when they become after 18, because 80% of the student, 80% of the student, after doing their intermediate, they want to join some of the places because they want to earn money for the family. This is the reality of the life. 20% of the students are only going for the further study. And out of that 20%, 10% are again studying up to the level 1 or level 2, maybe the graduation or post graduation. Remaining only 5 to 10% they go for the further study. So this was the bifurcation is there, and is a clear cut bifurcation as per the government of India's data which is there, and that data is not wrong. And at the same time, they are talking at after doing the high school 10th, right? They are going for the ITI or something like that, but this is a small thing are required. So then they're talking about that now the teachers, educators should have to behave like a trainer. Apart from an educator, the trainer. So when we will start putting it as a trainer, then from the 10th standard or 8th standard onwards, the student who doesn't want to study because they have the family responsibility, or after 12th, the student wants to work somewhere, skill part, right? Small skill industry is a skill. He or she will be acquainted with that particular segment instead of doing a very small job which is not able to fulfill the requirement. So as per the Prime Minister vision, right, by 2030, we have to ensure that at every level and all the level, we start jumping back, and so that we should start providing the skills as a trainer from the school side, from the teacher side, which is going to help the different, because here all good teachers have joined. But think about the teachers which are there in the interior. Think about the teachers which are not able to get the internet services. There, lot many students are there where they are not able to afford so much of the money cost, like 2,000, 3,000 rupees fees, whatever it is there. I will not comment on that, right? So this is the thing which has to be developed. Since we are talking on India per se, then India per se requires that development, which is very important. And it is in the shoulder of each and every educator, wherever they are, at whatever the level they are, or whosoever is a part of the education system, they should always part this knowledge, and they should ensure that such educators should be also upgraded. Because today, Dr. Pooja, you know each and everything, somebody knows each and everything. But think about the person who is 50 kilometers far from Baroda or 70 kilometers far from there, how that educator will be teaching for the part, which is very, very important. So this is the
Absolutely.
thing which we are talking about, the education summit. This is has to be taken in that. And of course, digitalization, technology, adaptability, emotional intelligence, SQ, all is a part and parcel of the life, which is very important. So the three segment has to be taken, which today I learned, let me tell you. I am very happy and very, very fortunate that today I'm able to speak the same thing which today I learned, that too with the senior government official, which they are thinking, and they are not thinking, but the Prime Minister is thinking about India, how to build India is skillful India.
Skillful.
That is
Self-reliant
all.
India. Self-reliant India.
Yes, self-reliant religion. G20 is one of the things which they are talking about it, that how to ensure that thing. So thank you so much. This is all from my side. Thank you.
Sir, thank you for sharing your knowledge. What have you learned today and what have you experienced? Because we are sitting here in different part of the country or different part of the world, but talking about the practical experience which you just shared with us, really. So thank you once again for sharing your takeaways. Thank you so much, sir. So it's always pleasure to hear you, sir. Yeah, over to Anju ma'am. Anju ma'am, we can.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah, ma'am, thank you. And it was really a pleasure listening to Rajpul sir and also Nahid Reza sir. Like Nahid Reza sir talked about some of the essential skills that has to be taught to the students. Yes, it is required. This is what I always say, always either when I'm speaking in my college or anywhere else. It is not just about acquiring some degrees, but we need, so much of life skills like Nahid sir was talking about resilience and compassion, gratitude, everything. And Rajpul said, it is always a pleasure listening to you because you give all the updates, everything. And it is so
Yes.
nice. It is so nice to know that. So, ma'am, can we call the next one?
Yes, ma'am. Hardina ma'am.
Yeah, Hadiana
I
ma'am is
welcome you,
there.
ma'am, on this note.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone. First of all, I'd love to express my gratitude to the organizer, IDYM Group, Professor Ms. Tenul, and our moderator, Dr. Puja, Dr. Anju, and all respected speakers. So as the 21st century continues to evolve, we all know that it becomes more and more evident that the curriculum of today's students require drastic changes from what students were taught in the decade past. And the needs of students are changing and their desires for education are becoming more complex than ever before. Like if we compare 5 years ago or 10 years ago or when we were school, it's completely different, right? So the advent of the internet has reshaped the manner in which we interact with information. First, for example, like it changed how we find the information. Today, for example, search engines such as Google provide a wealth of knowledge at our fingertips. And second, it changed how we access the information. So the internet has allowed us to use cloud-based software to access our files and to download them to our devices. And this has led to a shift in how we store information. So as a result, the traditional classroom model is no longer the only place where students learn, but also from home and school libraries, as well as from their electronic devices, like maybe smartphone, for example, or their laptop. So if you are a school administrator or educator who's seeking to keep up with the demands of 21st century education, you need to first encourage the students to work collaboratively online and have them use like Google Docs or other similar programs to create group projects and presentation for the class, and also encourage the teacher collaboration by having teachers have leave comments on students' work, for example, and share the ideas about teaching methods and new resources. Like the second thing is we can try to increase access to digital materials in their library by making it easier for students to print from their device or bring their own flash drive, for expands the ebooks collection, for example, by including popular titles that are actually available through Overdriver or other. So with the world evolving as fast as it is, we need to change how we educate our students, right? Teachers are in the best position to understand what skills and technologies students need, but they are actually often teaching with outdated tools and resources. And while the digital revolution has changed the way we communicate with each other, it's equally important to train educators in how to use social media, blogs, and videos in their classroom, because there's a study by Pew Research Center found that like 76% of teachers use social media in their jobs. But however, there are still many barriers preventing them from taking full advantage of these tools. So with the rapid advancement in technology from both a hardware and software standpoint, the classroom transforming into a place where things like PowerPoint presentation, like we often do on online conferences, online quizzes, and then the assignment and online discussion forums and email are replacing the old-fashioned teacher or instructor who stands at the front in front of the class or the lectures. So this is not something like technological advancement are taking power completely or even replacing teacher or instructor completely. It's more like how about we are evolving into a more adaptive learning environment for students so they can acquire their education on their own time and at their own pace. Because imagine like we don't teach them in such a new updated technology, and as they graduate, they face a workplace, they might really thinking like, oh, I don't know how to operate this one because I've never learned it before when I was school. It's going to be bad, right? So for example, it makes much easier for people who have a job or in some other type of situation that keeps them away from traditional schools to still get an education without having to worry like about missing classes. And not only that, now students can also receive feedback on their work much quicker than in the previous years, which help them to learn faster by making them aware of what they need to do instead of just guessing at what they need to improve on. So these changes in educational environment have come about thanks to the middle of ability e-learning, because research available via a website, application, we know that it's really helped us. So traditional educators may have considered themselves prepared for the 21st century and it's attend the change. But when it comes to getting their students ready to meet the demands of changing world, they may be in for a bit of surprise, because the technological revolution that has swept through every aspect of our life is continuing to transform the ways we think and interacting with one another. And it's up to the teachers and educators to help students develop the skills, and they'll need to thrive in a world where technology is becoming more important than ever before. And one place where this is evident in the classroom itself. So students, for example, who grow up during the digital age are accustomed to having access to vast online resources and inform and entertain them. And their teacher, for example, should take advantage of this opportunity by letting them use smartphones and tablets in class, for example. This doesn't mean that you should simply let your students use those devices as distraction from classwork. It's important that they learn how to apply these tools meaningfully so they become integral part of their learning experience rather than just an afterthought. So when you integrate smartphone apps into your lesson plan, you give your student access not only to information about relevant topic, but also the ability to connect with each other without distracting them from what's going on in the class. So I think that's all from my side. Thank you for listening. I'm giving back to the moderator. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Hadida ma'am. And it was really the kind of suggestions you have talked about, that we are evolving and we need to modify our way of teaching. The teacher in the class has to come up with a different thing. And again, as we are living in a digital world, we need to guide our students that how the digital technology, the technology has to be used in a proper way. I think when we keep on reminding Anjum ma'am, so they will be like having some kind of a difference, because we all are using technology some way or the other, and we are talking about digital India, digital, so we need to be dependent on this. I remember Anjum, everyone, I remember this Aristotle had rightly said that the aim of education is to develop men's faculties, especially his mind, so that he can be able to enjoy the contemplation of the supreme truth, goodness, and beauty in which perfect happiness essentially consists. So this is a time of 21st century's education which we are talking about. Yeah, over to Anjum ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Like Hadiana ma'am was talking again, like she is a very wonderful speaker. I always like listening to her. And ma'am, yes, as you were saying, you raised a very important point that we educators should keep on updating ourselves, because we can't compare our times with what the students are doing now. And also like usage of technology, like usage of smartphones and tabs in the class, yes, it should be there. And it's upon us, the educators, how we are handling the students to have the phone. Like even I do sometimes, like just give them an activity and they are allowed to use the phones and they will do it. They will not get distracted. They use the phone for only for the activities that time, and it was really very good. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much for joining and sharing your
And
views with us.
I think, Anju ma'am, this is an era where we need to make them more responsible, and
Yeah.
only we can talk about, like, because we are not focusing on the traditional way, like
Yes.
our teachers have done with us. This is a time we need to collaborate with them, because they know more than us sometimes in related to the technology. There are students, we all are educated, and our students always help us in some way or the other. So I think that is a wisely delivering of the things is required.
Yes, ma'am. So, ma'am, can we call the next speaker?
Yes, ma'am.
Esther Mala, ma'am, is there with us from Malaysia.
Yeah,
Ma'am has
we
also
welcome you,
joined.
ma'am.
She's again a trainer and Toastmaster. Ma'am, welcome you, ma'am. Please take on the stage.
Thank you, Dr. Anju. Happy weekend to all audience, our distinguished speakers. It's indeed, I'm really glad to meet all of you here. Let's dive in. My presentation today will be on the topic we have chosen about education in 21st century, but it will be more like on a bird's eye view. I'll be presenting on what's happening globally in the era of education, and of course, it is now the order of the day. Everybody is chasing after ChatGPT simulation. I'm also into it. I'm also doing some research and trying to learn more to keep up with the latest trend. Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, our title, The Changing Trends and Demands of 21st Century Education. What are we going to do? How are we going to journey through this century further? Changing, following to the subject, it refers to evaluation of educational practices and the shifting expectation for what students should know and be able to do in today's rapidly changing world. In this 21st century, it has brought about significant changes in technology, global interconnectedness, and the workforce demands, which have all had a profound impact on the way education is delivered and what is considered important for students to learn. This topic explores the current trends and demands in education that challenges the educators and educational institutions face in adapting to these changes and potential solution for addressing these challenges. Importance of education in this 21st century. Let's refer to a few of the key reasons. First, preparing. What we have to do as an educator, we have to prepare students for the workforce. Definitely, we have to prepare them with soft skill as well. Promoting critical thinking and problem solving. Fostering innovation and creativity. Promoting social and economic development. Addressing social issues. Addressing the global challenges. First, let's see the trends in this 21st century education. First, emphasis on technology and digital learning. This is what, these are the trends, what we are going to do. Shift towards student-centered learning. Emphasis on interdisciplinary and project-based learning. So there's no more like the educator will be just standing and writing and talking near the whiteboard. The students will be involved in doing projects in the classroom itself, whether it's physical or virtual. Use of blended and online learning. Increased focus on critical thinking and problems. The demands of the 21st century education. First, adapting to the changing job market, which is very much related to the latest technology and skills. Preparing students for a globalized world, meeting the needs of diverse students' population. Incorporating 21st century skills such as creativity, collaboration, and communication. Ensuring equity and access to education for all students. Next, let's see the challenges and solutions. The challenges are seeing to the economic condition of the world now. The world is already in soft recession, and it's expected to go in further seriously with the war in Ukraine and all. So the funding and resources will be a great challenge for everyone. Globally, teacher training and professional development. If you see, not many youngsters now like to be teachers or lecturers. So I know, I'm very sure you know what is the reason, because it's not easy to be a teacher or lecturer, and educator itself is a very committed, need high commitment. Implementation of new technologies and pedagogy, meeting the needs of all students, whatever needs they have, emotional needs, physical needs, financial needs, health-wise, everything is included here, addressing socio-economic and cultural factors. Let's see the conclusion for this, the challenges and all, yeah? What are the conclusions? The world is constantly changing and becoming more complex, and education is essential for preparing students for the workforce, fostering critical thinking and problem solving, promoting innovation and creativity, and addressing social and economic issues. Education is also crucial for addressing the global challenges such as climate change, globalization, and pandemic. This will be the main topics which everyone is going to focus. Next, third one is, it is important for educators, policymakers, and society to recognize the changing trends and demands of 21st century education and to strive for continuous improvement in the field, which includes investing in new technologies, providing professional development opportunities for educators, and ensuring that education is accessible and equitable to all students to ensure that future generations are equipped with the skill and knowledge. Education is essential for personal and professional development and growth and progress of society as a whole. 21st century has brought significant changes in technology, global interconnectedness, workforce demand that have profound impact on the way education is delivered and what is considered important for students. There is a shift towards new approaches to teaching and learning that better prepare students for challenges and opportunities in 21st century. These changes include emphasis on technology and digital learning, a shift towards student-centered learning, increased focus and critical thinking, problem-solving skill emphasis, and interdisciplinary and project-based learning, and use of blended and online learning. Next, education is crucial for preparing students for the workforce, fostering critical thinking and problem solving, again, promoting innovation and creativity, addressing social and economic issues, and addressing global challenges such as climate change, globalization, and pandemic. You will see some factors are repeated. It is important for educated policymakers and society as a whole to recognize the changing trends, demands of 21st century education to strive for continuous improvement in the field. The future. What is the future outlook for 21st century? This is what we are going to head forward to, and what we have to prepare. We have to prepare the students for globalized world, some potential future development in education, which includes greater use of technology, which is the integration of technology in classroom, more emphasis on digital learning, virtual and augmented reality. Personalized learning. Focus on personalized learning for each student using data and analytics to tailor instruction individual needs and ability. Increased focus on employability skills. There will be an increased emphasis on preparing students for the workforce by teaching them skills like soft skills, hard skills that employers are looking for, such as problem solving, critical thinking, collaboration, and so on. Greater emphasis on global perspective and cultural understanding, which is teaching students about different cultures, perspectives, and preparing them to be citizens of the world. Great focus on social and emotional learning. Greater emphasis on sustainability and environment. Greater use of online and distant learning. As we see, the COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the use of online distance learning, which will continue in future. Importance of staying informed and adaptive in the field of education. Why you need to know what is going on. These are few key reasons why staying informed and adaptive is important, which includes keeping up with the changes, the changing trends and demand, especially in technology, providing the best possible education for students, keeping up with advances in technology, professional development, meeting the needs of all students, addressing global challenges. I have completed the presentation. If there's any questions, you may put in the chat box, or you may reach me at my Facebook, Instagram, or my email address. Thank you.
What a wonderful presentation, ma'am. You have covered all the points, and really, the need of the hour is that we need to create more emphasis on technology. We need to be more personalized learning, and we need to focus on employability, skills, and the global perspective. It's not only a one part; it has to be globally because we are living in a globalized world. And greater focus on the social and emotional learning again because we are all human beings. We need to interact. We need to collaborate. So that kind of a collaboration, that kind of a understanding of each other is essential. Then you have talked about emphasis on the sustainability and environment. Like you just mentioned the example of COVID-19, how we have faced the crisis, and because we are living in a globalized world, so we were able to work upon that kind of a challenge. We have taken that care very wisely. Then why we need to be informed? That is again that 21st century is not a century of just keeping quiet. It's a century of adaptability. We need to adapt to the current challenges which we are facing, or to the current opportunities which we have to avail those opportunities. Thank you once again, Astra ma'am. It was nice listening to you. Thank you once again for all your feedbacks and your information.
Yeah, may I say something?
Yeah.
May I say something, Dr. Pooja? Because Actually, now it's not only the educators and the students are involved. Parents have to actively
Yes.
get involved in learning process of their children, and they have to learn at the same time.
Ma'am, it is, I think it is a triangle. A triangle of a
Right.
teacher, student, and a parent. Then only we can cater to
Complete.
the fundamental function of education is required. Thank you
Thank
once
you.
again, ma'am. It was nice and it was a pleasure listening to you.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Moving
It
ahead
was
with our
really a
next.
pleasure to listening to us.
Yeah, yeah.
Ma'am,
Moving.
can we call Mannat? Mannat
Yeah,
is
yeah. I
there,
was about to
the
also
youngest
announce.
member.
Yeah, the youngest member
Yeah,
and the ambassador, global
youngest member
ambassador.
is present.
Yeah, Mannat, over to you, Beta. We
Yeah.
welcome you, Beta, on this note, Education Summit 2023.
Thank you so much, Pooja ma'am and Anjum ma'am. Greetings of the day to all eminent speakers. Myself, Ambassador Manat Pankalar Neja, with profound respect, want to extend my sincere gratitude to my favorite Ravi sir for having me here live at IDYM TV and making me part of World Education Summit 2023. It's indeed an honor and privilege to be among all eminent speakers present here from all different parts of the globe to discuss about the changing trends and demands of 21st century education. What was the 20th century education? Let me throw some light. A 20th century education emphasized compliance and conformity over creativity, two skills that were necessary to do well in a professional or corporate environment and to hold down a good job for decades. Compliance and conformity are now a relic, but they are still key values in many schools, informing policy even when not being expressly promoted to students. Now, let me give a sneak peek about the 21st century education. A 21st century education is about giving students the skills they need to succeed in this new world and helping them grow the confidence to practice those skills with so much information readily available to them. 21st century skills focus more on making sense of that information, sharing and using it in smart ways. The coalition P221 partnership for 21st century learning has identified four skills for today: creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. These four themes are not to be understood as units or even subjects, but as themes that should be overlaid across all curriculum, mapping, and strategic planning. They should be part of every lesson in the same way as literacy and numeracy. Creativity is about thinking through information in new ways, making new connections, and coming up with innovative solutions to problems. Critical thinking is about analyzing information and critiquing claims. Communication is understanding things well enough to share them clearly with other people. Collaboration is about teamwork and the collective genius of a group that is more than the sum of its parts. There are other skills that are important which fall within these four areas. Entrepreneurship can be considered as a skill of its own. Inquiry and problem solving are key. Emotional intelligence is one of the most important keys to successful work and relationship. The bottom line: education needs to be all about empowering students with transferable skills that will hold up to a rapidly changing world, not prescribed content that has been chosen for its past relevance. While digital integration is also fundamental to a true 21st century education, It is not enough to simply add technology to existing teaching methods. Technology must be used strategically to benefit students. Many classroom technology classes have been baffled children by attempting to teach them about programs, websites, and hardware that are no longer relevant and that they understand far better than the teacher does. 21st century schools are also responding to demand by moving into international education. Schools which aren't traditional international schools are also striving to create an internationally connected education through travel opportunities, exchange programs, school partnerships, international school leadership, and online communication. Learning to be a global citizen is crucial in a world where technology is erasing borders. And we don't necessarily need an 21st century teacher to serve as a guide or mentor for their students, not as the all knowing sage providing them with all their information with so much access to resources of all kinds. Children are invariably going to know more than the teacher on different topics and be a step ahead of the technology in use. Teachers need to be empowered as facilitators and motivators for learning so that they can empower their students in turn. In a time when mental health and well being is one of the biggest challenges facing young people, a 21st century education can give students the skills they need both for now and for the future. Skills like communication, critical thinking, and EQ go beyond the workplace. They can help people through the most difficult times of their life. Finding your passion, doing it well, having a sense of purpose and focus, and being able to control your own work and life are all significant steps on the path to well being. Thus, would say the ability to think critically and creatively, to collaborate with others, and to communicate clearly set students up for success in their careers, but also empowers them to lead happier and healthier lives. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. And it's wonderful to hear when it comes from a young mind. And when she was delivering it, the kind of words she was using, it means that this is the change that we need. She talked about the teacher has to be a facilitator, a trainer, and it's more about not only a teaching a profession. Thank you, Mannat, for being there and for your articulation, the very well articulated speech of yours. Thank you once again. God bless you, beta.
Yes, it was
Thank you.
really good. It was an awesome speech, Mannat. It was really nice because till now we have been hearing from the educators and the trainer side. So here it was a student, a very young student, a 10-year old speaking on this. It was unbelievable. So nice, so nice. It was really nice. And one more young member with us, Purvi Gothi is there. Purvi, are you? Purvi.
We welcome you, Purvi, on this note, on this wonderful platform of IDYM.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Good evening. Am I audible to you all?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you so much for inviting me. So, today I am going to express my views on the topic the changing trends and demands of 21st century education. Previously, or in the mid 20s, the education was limited to only the walls of the classroom. A student was judged only by his marks, but gradually this trend changed, and it was believed that physical tasks or the physical activity is also necessary for their overall development. The earlier only the bookish knowledge was considered as complete knowledge, but gradually the trend was changed. For overall development, the students gradually involved in many tasks. For example, the students got assignment in the school. That assignment helped the students to their development, like to complete the assignments apart from the book. The other sources will also help to improve their overall mindset, because they actually learn the fourth and extra, because they just beside from the book they also go to the other resources. So then slowly this trend is coming, then now students should be told practically about all the things, like which will be told them in a theory, because it is also a demand of today's recruiters that they want a well skilled employee, and also so that the students interest generated in that particular topic. So it is necessary that we taught them the particular topic in practicals. When students express interest in generating that particular field, some new things will happen in that field, which will bring new contribution in the development of that field. Now, we should arrange such classes in which projectors and animations are used, so that we explain any topic to the student that it becomes crystal clear to them. For example, if we are teaching a student about the heart, then he should be able to see the heart in 3D clearly, so that he is able to understand the part and the functioning of the heart clearly, so that studies don't become a burden for them, and they studies to learn and not to pass the exam only. They understand the part of the heart. If we told them practically, so they know what is SA node, what is AV node, why SA node is known as a pacemaker of the heart. So it can be settled down. It can settle down in the back of their mind, that why SA node is known as a pacemaker of the heart. It is very important to tell them the things practically, or with the help of the projectors and the animations. The new education policy has been made keeping in mind about the students' benefit. For example, a graduation has been made of 4 years, in which if the first year is completed, then the student will get a certificate, and after completing the second year, you will get the diploma and degree after the completion of the third year, and the fourth year is associated with research. In this new education policy, the system has been made in which students can continue their studies again after completing 1 or 2 years by taking a gap. If a student has to take a gap due to some accident or due to lack of money, he will not have to join from the first year. He will have to study from the year he has completed his study. The purpose of doing all these things, that the child not consider studies as a burden, but he learned something new without the worry of the marks and about else things. As an educators, it is our duty to create interest in the students and not force them to learn the things or mugging up the things, so that they learn the new things and take the country forward. Thank you so much.
Wonderful presentation, Purvi. It was really pleasure listening to you. And when it comes from a young, as I just mentioned earlier, also it makes a difference. You talk about the innovation because you have been into the education. You have just completed, and you have got a. I came to know that you received the gold medal. So it's your congratulations once again, Beta. So it's
Thank
an
you so much.
age. 21st century is an age where we need to learn, we need to relearn, we need to unlearn. Then only the situation can be in control. So we need to adapt to the change, because again, change is ongoing process. If we are not adapting, then we will be behind the those. Yeah, Anju ma'am, I think you will agree with me.
Yeah, sure. Because it is not the age to study, but it is an age where we should learn.
Yes.
And we should also, we should not tease the students, but we should motivate them to learn about whatever is happening. So can we call the next speaker, ma'am?
Yes.
I
We
think
can call
Veena Harwani ma'am has joined us. Veena,
Priyanka
yes, I
ma'am.
can see her. Veena Harwani.
Yeah,
Yes,
Veena
yes.
Harwani ma'am. Yeah, welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Pooja ji. Thank you so much, Anjum ji. Really, really wonderful listening to all the speakers, really. And it was amazing by the little orator today. And she was just brilliant, really, Manat. You were just amazing. And yes, I would also like to add that, yes, the education policies need to really get changed a bit. You know, they have to come into the practical mode as to we all should learn to be techno savvy. And so, should be the teachers, the coaches, the trainers, because the more techno savvy they are, the more adjustable children, whomever they are basically, teaching or training, it becomes easier for them to adapt themselves to this competitive world, these days. So yeah, that's all from my side. That yes, you need to be techno savvy at the same time. You need to be really empathetic, as a trainer, as a coach, because agar, you have the empathy, and then you're able to actually get to how you're able to guide them, show them, channelize their ways, because children these days are so basically unpredictable because of their emotional imbalance these days. I have seen, because I'm training children from 5 years until 35 years at the moment continuously. So I basically have, assumed and analyzed and actually realized one thing, that, because of the emotional imbalance, despite of them being techno savvy also at times, they're not able to basically know exactly what they are up to or what they basically want from life. So I think, if this has been taken into consideration in the earlier point of life during their education life, that how they need to channelize their energies, how they need to channelize their learnings. So that really is going to help them, in the long run, So that's all from me. Thanks very much.
Rightly said, Veena ma'am, and thank you for your input for today's education summit. And that you mentioned that you need to channelize and channelize in a way that they understand and they're emotionally they are able to cope up with that. I think then only
Absolutely.
we can get a good result over that. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Veena
And they
ma'am.
need to learn to be persistent, basically,
Yes, to be
somewhere they
persistent.
lose the persistence part, and then they accept so much from life, like anything. And then the competition begins in their mind, but they need to compete with themselves first, and then with the
Correct.
rest of the world.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, we're moving ahead with our next speaker. I would like to call Priyanka Ranjani, ma'am. Are you there, ma'am? Priyanka, ma'am? Priyanka Rajani, ma'am? I think some network issue. Anju, ma'am, we'll go ahead with the next speaker for today's session. Laila Jacob, ma'am, are you there? Laila Jacob, ma'am, I welcome you.
Hello, everybody. I'm really very happy to participate in this particular discussion. And I'm Mrs. Laila Jacob, as a high school teacher from Karnataka at present. And when we are already discussing about this SDG 4, we know very well that education plays an important role in our lives. United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, which was already born in 1945, they have already declared SDG 4 focusing on education. We all know very well that in the world, the coronavirus had already brought that particular situation when the children were not able to come out of their houses, and we have already introduced that blended learning, that is online system of education. So that old and traditional method of chalk and duster system had already been replaced by means of technology. So when we are already thinking about this SDG 4, I would like to concentrate on few tips, that is literacy for life, the leap for equality, education for all, and more than that, the world is already on the track of sustainable development goal, that is education for all and gender equality. When I mean gender equality, I remember one of the lessons which I have already been taught recently, that is all about Santosh Yadav, who had already scaled Mount Everest 2 times, and she had been declared as the only woman in the world who had already scaled Mount Everest 2 times. So even though she was already taken birth in a particular family, tradition-bound family, their families members, they wanted that, the rest of the relatives wanted that the next child would be a boy. But when the holy men had already told them that the mother would be giving birth to a boy, the grandmother told, no, we don't want to have a boy, we want to have a girl. Here, whenever she had taken birth that time, she was already following the system.
I think we lost network connection
She's
from her.
there. I think. She's,
She is there, but
I think
unmute, ma'am. Unmute yourself.
Of the tradition like that, we all should, they should try to concentrate more and more to give education or impart education, impart knowledge in such a way that where we will have to align with one of the thought. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. I would like to repeat my thought. If you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Thank you so much, IDYM. Thank you so much to all of you for listening me very patiently. This is Laila Jacob signing off. Thank you.
Thank you, Lala ma'am, for being there and for giving your sharing your viewpoint, giving your take things that the best way to create value in our 21st century is to connect creativity with technology, to be more consistent in as an educator, to be a trainer, to be a facilitator. Thank you, ma'am. Moving ahead with our next speaker, I would like to call upon Dr. Jacqueline Mahadik.
He told me that your 8 o'clock and ended.
Hello.
So I have not seen me. That is why he's calling me again and again. I will go now. I'll switch off and go, sir. 1 second.
On this note, I would like to call upon Dr. Jacqueline Mahadik, ma'am. Are you there, ma'am?
She's
Nothing,
not
Anjum, ma'am?
responding, I think.
Yeah. We'd like to call
Dr. Emmanuel.
Yeah, Emmanuel, we can call
Yeah,
Dr.
Dr. Emmanuel. Dr. Emmanuel, are you there?
Yes, here I am.
Yes,
We'd
sir,
like to
please,
hear you,
take
sir,
over
on
the
this
stage.
Education Summit 2023.
Thank you
We'd
very
like
much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I would like to say that when we are talking about education, education is really very important for our children. But sometimes education overlooks the other groups of children, such as the special needs. The special needs, they need a special attention in our schools because most of these, they have got problems in hearing, they have got problems in seeing, they have got problems in interacting with their friends. Sometimes they are a group which is vulnerable in education. So I would like us to look into that and say that the most vulnerable groups in the education, more especially when we are talking about the children, we are talking about the special needs. They need more attention. They need more attention from the teachers. The teachers should ensure that they are going together with those who have got problems in hearing. They are going together with those who have got problems in seeing. So what I would like us to advise all the governments, the stakeholders, the teachers, the parents, we should take a collective decision in how some of the lessons, some of the subjects are being delivered in class to ensure that every child has got a right to understand what the teacher is teaching in the class. Sometimes we leave them behind. We just continue with our lesson without finding out if everyone in class is understanding what the teacher is delivering. So this comes at the end of the when it comes to testing, when it comes to examination, you find that some other students are not see what the teacher is writing on the blackboard, and they did not even hear what the teacher is saying. So these are the challenges that we should look into, because if we overlook these challenges, it simply means so we need to make sure that all the children should be taken together. So if they are taken together, those the disabled, the disabilities, those with having problems in seeing, those having problems in hearing, they should go together with the other students. So what I would like us to make sure is that let's come up with a collective effort to make sure that all the children understand in the class. More especially, our attention should be also on the special needs, those who have got some problems. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak today on this summit. I'm humbled. Thank you.
Brilliant, sir. And you have talked about the inclusive education, which is the need of the hour, that no student should be kept apart, could be lagging behind this in education. So we need to collaborate with those students who are of special needs. So this is again a kind of suggestion, and the government, and I think all the government across the world is taking measures regarding this. Moving ahead with our next speaker, Anju ma'am, we will invite the last speaker for today's, Priyanka Rajani ma'am. Can you hear me? And I really got a good message from Estra ma'am that education begins from home. Both parents and teachers should work hard for it. Rightly said, ma'am. Thank you for sharing your message. Priyanka Rajani ma'am, are you there?
Priyanka Rajani ma'am is not responding, and one more speaker,
Okay,
Dr.
she's having some
Jacqueline.
network issue. She just messaged Anju ma'am that she's having a
Okay.
network issue.
Yeah, I saw the message now.
Yeah, I think we will call
And
Dr. Jacqueline ma'am and then Mahajan. Yeah. Dr. Jacqueline ma'am, can you hear us? Here on this note, I remember what Charles Darwin has talked about. It is not the strongest of the species that survive, not the most intelligent that survive. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. And I think this summit is an example that we educators are talking here, are discussing a very special or a very crucial topic for today's era. By having such summits, we understand, we collaborate, we take each other's point of view, and I think we adapt with these changes also. Anju ma'am, I think she's not responding.
yes, ma'am, she is not responding. So I think because everyone who is present, they have already spoken, so no one to left, no one is left. So we can, I think,
we can. So we'll thank you once
if you want to
again.
speak anything.
Yeah. So I think it's time to sign off. So thank you once again, all the speakers who have come up for today's wonderful Education Summit 2023. It's a pleasure being with you all after such a long time, and we will be like looking forward with another session of Idym IM. Good to see you, Veena ma'am.
Yeah, really happy to see all of you all yet again. It's wonderful meeting all of you once again.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah,
and
it was
Thank
nice.
you,
And
Arina
thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you, Veena ma'am, Anju ma'am, Poonam ma'am, Dr. Jacqueline, and Estra ma'am for your valuable time.
Hope the slides were useful, because in case
Yes, it was. It is, ma'am. It is.
Yeah, normally nowadays, since it's online and we are sharing the screen, I tend to put more words, because in case they miss, because they don't see the speaker like this physical meeting. So in case they miss, they couldn't hear any words or what, then they can read and they can even pictures and refer later.
Yeah.
You see, so I hope it's not like too heavy.
No, ma'am. It is
Yeah?
a wonderful
No,
presentation. It was.
it was a wonderful presentation, ma'am. It was
Yes,
really
yes, it
wonderful.
was absolutely
Balance.
relatable. Yes,
Thank
absolutely
you.
relatable.
Thank you. I appreciate it much. Thank you.
Everyone
Thank
could
you once
resonate. Yes.
again. Good night.
Good
Good
night,
night.
Have a nice
everyone.
ahead.
Good night. Good night.
Bye bye. Bye, Hadina ma'am. Bye bye.
Good night.
Night.
Thank you, Hadiana.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you for the feedback. So kind of you.
Have a
Bye.
good night. Bye.
Yeah, bye.